like the original fairy tales, I believe. I hope this is the correct website. Oh, there is our restreamer. Hi, Breaker posting. Let's let my okay. Like Grimm fairy tale. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are Grimm fairy tales. I don't know for sure, but just be reading them. Oh my god, the music is so freaking loud on my end. I have to play it though, so that y'all can actually hear the music. This is ah okay. So okay, I'll lurk for a bit. Okay, you're gonna lurk for the fairy tales. Okay, this one is we're gonna do um the Frog King or Iron Henry. Okay, now let's hear how bad my reading voice is. Let's see how this goes. Okay. In olden times, when wishing still helped one, there lived a king whose daughters were all beautiful, but the youngest was so beautiful that the sun itself, which has seen so much, was astonished whenever it shone in her face. Close by the king's castle lay a great dark forest, and under an old lime tree in the forest was a well. And when the day was warm, the king's child went out into the forest and sat down by the side of the cool fountain. And when she was bored, she took a golden ball and threw it up on high and caught it. And this ball was her favorite plaything. I don't want to turn off the music because the background music is nice for y'all. Thank you for the like and welcome in, Nate. Now it so happened that on one occasion the princess's golden ball did not fall into the little hand which she had been holding up for it, but onto the ground beyond and rolled straight into the water. The king's daughter followed it with her eyes, but it vanished, and the well was so deep, and the well was deep, so deep that the bottom could not be seen. At this she began to cry, and cried louder and louder, and could not be comforted. And as she thus lamented, someone said to her, "What ails you, king's daughter? You weep so that even a stone would show pity." Hi, Papa Rev. I'm not your dad! We came here to hear you, not the music. But it gets boring whenever I don't have the music on. She looked round to the side from whence the voice came, and saw a frog stretching forth its big ugly head from the water. "Ah, old water splasher, it is you," she said. "I am weeping for my golden ball, which has fallen into the well." "Be quiet and do not weep," answered the frog. "I can help you. But what will you give me if I bring you your plaything again?" "Whatever you will have, dear frog," she said. "My clothes, my pearls, wearing." The frog answered, "I do not care for your clothes, your pearls and jewels, nor for your golden crown. But if you will love me and let me be your companion and playfellow, and sit by you at your little table, and eat off your little golden plate, and drink out of your little cup, and sleep in your little bed, if you will promise me this, I will go down below and bring you your golden ball up again." "Oh yes," she said, "I promise you all you wish, bring if you will but bring me back my ball again." But she thought, how the silly frog does talk. All he does is sit in the water with the other frogs and croak. He can be no companion to any human being. But the frog, when he had received this promise, put his head into the water and sank down, and in a short while came swimming up again with the ball in his mouth, and threw it on the grass. The king's daughter was delighted to see her pretty plaything once more, and picked it up and ran away with it. "Wait, wait," said the frog, "take me with you. I can't run as you can." But what did it avail him to scream as croak, croak after her, as loudly as he could? She did not listen to it, but ran home and soon forgot the poor frog, who was forced to go back into his well again. The next day, when she had seated herself at a table with the king and all the courtiers, and was eating from her little golden plate, something came creeping splish splash, up the marble staircase, and when it had got to the top, it knocked at the door and cried, "Princess, youngest princess, open the door for me." She ran to see who was outside, but when she opened the door, there sat the frog in front of it. That's creepy. "Welcome in, Amethyst. You're beautiful." "Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for the nice voice." New people, indeed new people. "Welcome in, Double Stuffed Oreo." Then she slammed the door to, and in great haste, sat down to dinner again, and was quite frightened. The king saw plainly that her heart was beating violently, and said, "My child, what are you so afraid of? Is there perchance a giant outside who wants to carry you away?" "Ah, no," replied she. "It is no giant, but a disgusting frog." "What does the frog want with you?" "Ah, dear father, yesterday as I was sitting in the forest by the well, playing, my golden ball fell into the water, and because I cried so, the frog brought it out again for me, and because he so insisted, I promised him he should be my companion, but I never thought he would be able to come out of his water, and now he is outside there, and wants to come in to me." Fresh meat is crazy, Nate. You're going to scare them off. In the meantime, it knocked a second time and cried, Princess, youngest princess, open the door for me. How does it knock? Do you not know what you said to me yesterday by the cool waters of the well? Princess, youngest princess, open the door for me. Then said the king, That which you have promised must you perform. Go and let it in. She went and opened the door, and the frog hopped in and followed her, step by step, to her chair. There he sat and cried, Lift me up beside you. She delayed, until at last the king commanded her to do it. Once the frog was on the chair, he wanted to be on the table, and when he was on the table he said, Now push your little golden plate nearer to me, that we may eat together. She did this, but it was easy to see that she did not do it willingly. The frog enjoyed what he ate, but almost every mouthful she took choked her. At length he said, I have eaten and am satisfied. Now I am tired. Carry me into your little room, and make me your little silken bed ready, and we will both lie down and go to sleep. The king's daughter began to cry, for she was afraid of the cold frog, which she did not like to touch, and which was now to sleep in her pretty clean little bed. But the king grew angry and said, He who helped you when you were in trouble ought not afterwards to be despised by you. So she took hold of the frog with 2 fingers, carried him upstairs, and put him in a corner. But when she was in bed, he crept up to her and said, I am tired. I want to sleep as well as you. Lift me up, or I will tell your father. At this she was terribly angry, and took him up and threw him with all her might against the wall. Now will you be quiet, odious frog, she said. But when he fell down, he was no frog, but a king's son, with kind and beautiful eyes. He, by her father's will, was now her dear companion and husband. Then he told her how he had been bewitched by a wicked witch, and how no one could have delivered him from the well but herself, and that tomorrow they would go together into his kingdom. Then they went to sleep, and next morning when the sun awoke them, a carriage came driving up with 8 white horses, which had white ostrich feathers on their heads, and were harnessed with golden chains. And behind stood the young king's servant, Faithful Henry. Faithful Henry had been so unhappy when his master was changed into a frog, that he had caused 3 iron bands to be laid around his heart. What? Lest it should burst with grief and sadness. The carriage was to conduct the young king with his kingdom. Faithful Henry helped them both in, and placed himself behind again, and was full of joy because of this deliverance. And when they had driven a part of the way, the king's son heard a cracking behind him as if something had broken. So he turned round and cried, Henry, the carriage is breaking. No, master, it is not the carriage. It is the band from my heart, which was put there in my great pain when you were a frog and imprisoned in the well. Again and once again, while they were on their way, something cracked, and each time the king's son thought the carriage was breaking, but it was only the bands which were springing from the heart of Faithful Henry because his master was set free and happy. That wasn't that much of a twisted tale. I was kind of chill. Is the princess? I think it's the Princess and the Frog. Hold on, let me put pop-up chat on Twitch. There we go. But yeah, that one wasn't that bad. Hi, Burger Posting. How are you? Come on, we want the blood. Sorry. Oh no, y'all are rubbing off on me. Let's see if we can find a familiar one. The Wolf and the 7 Little Kids. That's different. Let's do Rapunzel. Yes, spill the blood. No. Hi, Jamie. How are you? Welcome in, Marcus. How are you? Okay, so we'll read Rapunzel now. There was once a man and a woman who had long in vain wished for a child. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm all right. Thank you for asking. Welcome in, Miss L. It's been a while. How have you been? At length, the woman hoped that God was about to grant her desire. These people had a little window at the back of their house from which a splendid garden could be seen, which was full of the most beautiful flowers and herbs. It was, however, surrounded by a high wall, and no one dared to go into it because it belonged to an enchantress, who had great power and was dreaded by all the world. One day the woman was standing by this window and looking down into the garden, when she saw a bed which was planted with the most beautiful rampion, Rapunzel. And it looked so fresh and green that she longed for it, and had the greatest desire to eat some. This desire increased every day, and as she knew that she could not get any of it, she quite pined away, and began to look pale and miserable. Then her husband was alarmed, and asked, "What ails you, dear wife?" "Ah," she replied, "if I can't eat some of the rampion, which is in the garden behind our house, I shall die." The man, who loved her, thought, "Sooner than let your wife die, bring her some of the rampion yourself, let it cost what it will." At twilight, he clambered down over the wall and into the garden of the enchantress, hastily clutched a handful of rampion, and took it to his wife. She at once made herself a salad of it and ate it greedily. It tasted so good to her, so very good, that the very next day she longed for it 3 times as much as before. If he was to have any rest, her husband would must once more descend into the garden. In the gloom of evening, therefore, he let himself down again. But when he had clambered down the wall, he was terribly afraid, for he saw the enchantress standing before him. "How can you dare," she said with an angry look, "descend into my garden and steal my rampion like a thief? You shall suffer for it." "Ah," answered he, "let mercy take place of justice. I only made up my mind to do it out of necessity. My wife saw your rampion from the window, and felt such a longing for it that she would have died if she had not gotten some to eat." Then the enchantress allowed her anger to be softened, and said to him, "If the case be as you may, I will allow you to take away with you as much rampion as you will. Only I make one condition. You must give me the child which your wife will bring into the world. It shall be well treated, and I will care for it like a mother." The man in his terror consented to everything, and when the woman was brought to bed, the enchantress appeared at once, gave the child the name of Rapunzel, and took it away with her. Rapunzel grew into the most beautiful child under the sun. When she was 12 years old, the enchantress shut her into a tower which lay in a forest, and had neither stairs nor door, but quite at the top of was a little window. When the enchantress wanted to go in, she placed herself beneath it and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me." Welcome in, Fallen Dog. How are you? Are you sure Android AniLive is not? Because I see a lot of new people too, but I don't know. Android is out, but it isn't working for everyone from what I heard. Android is out? I can't see it. I'm looking for it on my phone, and I can't see it. So I don't know. Maybe it is out. I don't know. If it is, then this is not the right event. I was going to be doing something else for y'all. Apparently certain versions aren't working or something. That's so weird. It's fine. Rapunzel had magnificent long hair, fine as spun gold, and when she heard the voice of the enchantress, she unfastened her braid tresses, wound them round one of the hooks of the window above, and the enchantress climbed up by it. Thank you for the like. After a year or two, it came to pass that the king's son rode through the forest and passed by the tower. Then he heard a song, which was so charming that he stood still and listened. This was Rapunzel, who in her solitude passed her time in letting her sweet voice resound. The king's son wanted to climb up to her, and he looked for the door to the tower, but none was to be found. He rode home, but the singing had so deeply touched his heart that every day he went out into the forest and listened to it. Once, when he was thus standing behind a tree, he saw that an enchantress came up there, and he heard how she cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Then Rapunzel let down the braids of her hair, and the enchantress climbed up to her. "If that is the ladder by which one would mount, I too will try my fortune," said he, and the next day, when it began to grow dark, he went to the tower and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Immediately the hair fell down, and the king's son climbed up. At first Rapunzel was terribly frightened when a man, such as her eyes had never yet beheld, came to her. But the king's son began to talk to her quite like a friend, and told her that his heart had been so stirred that it had let him have no rest, and he had been forced to see her. Then Rapunzel lost her fear, and when he asked her if she would take him for her husband, and she saw that he was young and handsome, she thought, "He will love me more than old Dame Gothel does." And she said yes, and laid her hand in his. She said, "I will willingly go away with you, but I do not know how to get down. Bring with you a skein of silk every time that you come, and I will weave a ladder with it. And when that is ready, I will descend, and you will take me on your horse." They agreed that until that time came, he should come to her every evening, for the old woman came by day. The enchantress remarked nothing of this, until once Rapunzel said to her, "Tell me, Dame Gothel, how it happens that you are so much heavier for me to draw up than the young king's son. He is with me in a moment." "Ah, you wicked child," cried the enchantress, "what do I hear you say? I thought I had separated you from all the world, and yet you have deceived me." In her anger she clutched Rapunzel's beautiful tresses, wrapped them twice round her left hand, seized a pair of scissors with the right, and snip, snap, they were cut off, and the lovely braids lay on the ground. And she was so pitiless that she took poor Rapunzel into a desert where she had to live in grief and misery. On the same day she cast out Rapunzel, however, the enchantress fastened the braids of hair, which she had cut off, to the hook of the window, and when the king's son came and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," she let the hair down. The king's son ascended, but instead of finding his dearest Rapunzel, he found the enchantress, who gazed at him with wicked and venomous looks. Aha, she cried mockingly, you would fetch your dearest, but the beautiful bird sits no longer singing in the nest. The cat has got it, and you will scratch your eyes out as well. Rapunzel is lost to you. You will never see her again. The king's son was beside himself with pain, and in his despair he leapt down from the tower. He escaped with his life, but the thorns into which he fell pierced his eyes. Then he wandered quite blind around the forest, ate nothing but roots and berries, and did not but lament and weep over the loss of his dearest wife. Thus he roamed about in misery for some years, and at length came to the desert where Rapunzel, with twins to which she had given birth, a boy and a girl, lived in wretchedness. He heard a voice, and it seemed so familiar to him that he went towards it, and when he approached, Rapunzel knew him and fell on his neck and wept. Two of her tears wetted his eyes, and they grew clear again, and he could see them as before. He led her to his kingdom, where he was joyfully received, and they lived for a long time afterwards, happy and content. I think it won't show in your store if your device is incompatible. Not that I see the requirements listed anywhere. What the flip flop? This is unfair, man. This is so uncool, man. It really is. Hi, Vigio. How are you? Hi. Hold on. I'm curious. I want to see if I can somehow get this. Bruh. Oh, I can install it. How come I couldn't find it before? Hi. Happy that I'm on AniLive. Finally. Yes. Welcome on. How are you? Thank you for the hi. Okay, I'm not gonna log in on my phone yet because they're probably gonna be like, actually, you gotta log in like this, and I don't wanna, I don't wanna fuck up. Yes, Vigio Pookie, no Diddy. What? Because you're a horse. What do you mean? Because I'm a horse. What about it? Open tracks. See, Izumi, not all of my streams are absolutely chaotic. Just some of them. Hi, how are you? Okay, but I'm still tripping on why. I'm glad you're alright. I'm okay, thank you for asking. My voice is being weird, but that's okay. Okay, it doesn't show up right here. But what the fuck? I don't understand. Why isn't it showing up? Okay, wait, maybe if I put new. Oh, I had to put new. Okay. Who the fuck is another ball? Should I be your ball? Stop. You're going to scare people away. Welcome in, Annie. How are you? And thank you for the nice voice. Fallen dog. Welcome in, Nine. How are y'all? See, if I had known that this was the opening day, I wouldn't have planned this. I would have done something more fun for y'all. Like done riddles and stuff, but I guess you're just going to have to deal with me reading stories. I'm not scaring people. You are. No. Wow, there are a lot of people now. Yeah, it's crazy. There we go. It's crazy that it's now open. I didn't even... Oh my gosh. I didn't even know that it was opened up. If only I had known. It's weird having so many people in here. Okay. I'm sorry, my brain is zooming right now. That's fair enough. Chat throwback. What the... Nate, stop. You're going to scare people. No, Karma! Karma! Why do you do this? Oh my gosh. And then the chaos begins. Okay. My voice cracking is crazy. I don't have much water on me. This is wild. The cult returns. I don't agree with this. Man, seeing you up close is really different. You look very pretty. Thank you. Ta-da. Doop. Because it's not Rev stream without the chaos. That's fair enough, I guess. Welcome in, SPZ. How are you? For free? Rev, you're cooked. I am cooked. I'm so cooked. I can't. Hey, I saw myself that left eye. Oh my gosh. Rev's knees. I'm gonna continue reading now. So far, hi. So far, so good. How about you? I'm glad. I'm okay. Thank you for asking. Okay. Let's see. Rev cult. No. I thank you for the like. I don't want a cult. No, stop. I don't appreciate this. Okay. Let's read Cinderella. Holy shit, it's long. Okay. Oh, did I tell y'all how I was supposed to have a friend coming over? Guess who freaking canceled on me? Last minute. Like, they text me this morning, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I can't come over. And I'm like, I'm going to dropkick you. But that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not mad. I'm not this isn't the second time they've canceled. Me upset? Never. Anyway, fake friend. Welcome in, Panda Time. How are you? For me, it showed up when I put the search bar and tapped nude. That's what I did. I did that too. And Vigio, what are you doing over there? Rev's left eye. Oh my gosh! Thank you for the like. You can tell there's a new update because it's not loading as much. No. Thank you for the pink pen light and the hi and the clap. I appreciate it. Okay. Cinderella, the wife of a rich man, fell sick, and as she felt that her end was drawing near, she called her only daughter to her bedside and said, "Dear child, be good and pious, and then the good God will always protect you, and I will look down on you from heaven and be near you." Thereupon she closed her eyes and departed. Every day the maiden went out to her mother's grave and wept, and she remained pious and good. When winter came and the snow spread a white sheet over the grave, and by the time the spring sun had drawn it off again, the man had taken another wife. God damn, he moved on fast. The woman had brought with her into the house 2 daughters, who were beautiful and fair of face, but vile and black of heart. Now began a bad time for the poor stepchild. "Is the stupid goose to sit in the parlor with us?" they said. "He who wants to eat bread must earn it. Out with the kitchen wench." They took her pretty clothes away from her, put on old grey bedgown on her, and gave her wooden shoes. "Just look at the proud princess, how decked out she is," they cried, and laughed, and led her into the kitchen. There she had to do hard work from morning till night, get up before daybreak, carry water, light fires, cook and wash. Besides this, the sisters did her every imaginable injury. They mocked her and emptied her peas and lentils into the ashes, so that she was forced to sit and pick them out again. In the evening, when she had worked till she was weary and she had no bed to go to, but had to sleep by the hearth and cinders. She had no bed to go to, but had to sleep by the hearth in the cinders. And as the account, she always looked. And as on that account, she always. Okay, hold on, guys. Okay. Oh shoot. My alarm's about to go off to post a dad joke. I'm watching you from both platforms. Fair enough. Thank you for the like. Welcome inside. How are you? Welcome back, Nine. How are you? Don't worry, when my friend cancel on me, I call them a lolicon. That's crazy. What are you reading? It's Cinderella. The twisted, like the actual story of it. Hold on, guys. I had to post a dad joke. Gosh, dang it. Oh, man. I love when dad reads. I'm not your fucking dad. Okay. When does a bed grow longer? It's dead. That's crazy. My goodness. You're gonna have to look at my Twitter to find that out, Burger posting. Wind dies a bed. Okay, I posted it. Tomorrow's daily dad joke will be funny. Granted, I have horrible humor, so. Rev is what? Welcome in, ramen noodles. Hello, Reverie. How are you? I'm doing all right. Yes, I am okay. I was posting a dad joke. Papa, why do you hate me? I'm not your I'm not your dad. Anyway, I was posting a dad joke. Thank you. Lots of talk of feet today. What are you talking about? Okay. Did someone say feet? Why do you ask? She only hates one of us, and I think that she only hates one of us, I think, and it wouldn't be you. Oh my gosh, huh? I'm so lost. Oh, I posted a dad joke, and it's when does a bed grow longer? At night, because 2 feet are added to it. There, I spoiled the dad joke. And that's why we were talking about feet. What is that, a nose? Why are you sniffing? What? Rixie did a feet drawing stream earlier today. That's weird. That is so painfully not funny. It is so funny. What are you talking about? And this is why I get called father. Because I make silly jokes. And that's okay. We love it. Okay. So the problem that I have with my microphone is that it blocks my mouth so you guys can't see that I'm talking. So I could turn up my microphone, but I don't want to risk it because if I start yelling all of a sudden, which I do often do whenever I'm talking to Karma. Well, more when I'm laughing. I'm very loud. And I don't want to hurt y'all's ears. But why was Rixie drawing feet? Thank you for the like, Sai. Welcome back. I think she hates me. Who hates you? I hate that I can't just slightly turn my head to the side, because I do that. I cock my head to the side a lot. I think she hates me being... You? Who's you? Me? No fatherly love, man. Okay, I'm gonna go back to reading now. I'm gonna go back to reading. Rev, yes, you. Oh, I don't hate you, but I don't appreciate the being my balls thing. That's not ideal. Anyway. Okay. And as on that account, she always looked dusty and dirty. They called her Cinderella. It happened that the father was once going to the fair, and he asked his 2 stepdaughters what he should bring back for them. Beautiful dresses, said one. Pearls and jewels, said the Jews. Bring me back some Jews, father. Pearls and jewels, said the second. No one clip that. No one clip that. Do not clip that. And you, Cinderella, said he, what will you have? Father, break off for me the first branch which knocks against your hat on your way home. So he brought So he bought beautiful dresses, pearls, and jewels for his two stepdaughters. And on his way home, as he was riding through a green thicket, a hazel twig brushed against him and knocked off his hat. Then he broke off the branch and took it with him. When he reached home, he gave his stepdaughters the things which they had asked for, and to Cinderella he gave the branch from the hazel bush. Cinderella thanked him, went to her mother's grave, and planted the branch on it, and wept so much that the tears fell down on it and watered it. And it grew and became a handsome tree. Thrice a day Cinderella went and sat beneath it, and wept and prayed. And a little white bird always came on the tree, and if Cinderella expressed a wish, the bird threw down to her what she had wished for. It happened, however, that the king gave orders for a festival, which was to last 3 days, and to which all the beautiful young girls in the country were invited, in order that his son might choose himself a bride. When the two stepsisters heard that they too were to appear among the number, they were delighted, called Cinderella and said, "Comb our hair for us, brush our shoes, and fasten our buckles, for we are going to the wedding at the king's palace." Cinderella obeyed, but wept, because she too would have liked to go with them to the dance, and begged her stepmother to allow her to do so. "You go, Cinderella," she said, "covered in dust and dirt as you are, and would go to the festival? You have no clothes and shoes, and yet would dance." As, however, Cinderella went on asking, the stepmother said at last, "I have emptied a dish of lentils and to the ashes for you. If you have picked them out again in 2 hours, you shall go with us." The maiden went through the back door into the garden and called, "You tame pigeons and turtle doves, and all you birds beneath the sky, come and help me pick the good into the pot and the bad into the crop." Then 2 white pigeons came in by the kitchen window, and afterwards the turtle doves, and at last all the birds beneath the sky, came whirring and crowding in, and alighted amongst the ashes. And the pigeons nodded with their heads and began to pick, 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 and the rest also began to pick, 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 and gathered all the good grains into the dish. Hardly had 1 hour passed before they were finished, and all flew out again. Then the girl took the dish to her stepmother, and was glad and believed that now she would be allowed to go with them to the festival. But the stepmother said, "No, Cinderella, you have no clothes and you cannot dance. You would only be laughed at." And as Cinderella wept at this, the stepmother said, "If you can pick 2 dishes of lentils out of the ashes for me in 1 hour, you shall go with us again." With us, and she thought to herself that she was most certainly could not do it again. When the stepmother had emptied the 2 dishes of lentils among the ashes, the maiden went through the back door into the garden and cried, "You tame pigeons, you turtle doves, and all you birds under the sky, come and help me to pick the good into the pot and the bad into the crop." Then 2 white pigeons came into the kitchen window, and afterwards the turtle doves. Hold on. Or I've got the stiff neck. Oh my god. Stop hating your balls. Stop it. Juice. Cinderella got that bone meal tears. Hi, Blink. Okay. I don't like doing the sound effects. Pick, pick, pick. I missed the beginning because I had no charge. Oh. Okay. You cannot go with the. Okay. Then 2 white pigeons came into the kitchen in by the kitchen window, and afterwards the turtle doves, and at length all the birds beneath the sky came whirring and crowding in, and alighted amongst the ashes. And the doves nodded with their heads and began pick, 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 and the others began also pick, 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 and gathered all the good seeds into the dishes. And before half an hour was over, they had already finished, and all flew out again. Then the maiden was delighted, and believed that she might now go with them to the wedding. But the stepmother said, "All this will not help. You cannot go with us, for you have no clothes and cannot dance. We would be ashamed of you." On this, she turned her back on Cinderella and hurried away with her 2 proud daughters. As no one was now at home, Cinderella went to her mother's grave beneath the hazel tree and cried, "Shiver and quiver, little tree, silver and gold throw down over me." Then the bird threw a gold and silver dress down to her, and slippers embroidered with silk and silver. She put on the dress with all speed and went to the wedding. Her stepsisters and the stepmother, however, did not know her, and thought she must be a foreign princess, for she looked so beautiful in the golden dress. They never once thought of Cinderella, and believed that she was sitting at home in the dirt picking lentils out of the ashes. The prince approached her, took her by the hand, and danced with her. He would dance with no other maiden, and never let loose of her hand. And if any one else came to invite her, he said, "This is my partner." Bro, I want that. Anyway, she danced till it was evening, and then she wanted to go home. But the king's son said, "I will go with you and bear you with your company," for he wished to see whom the beautiful maiden belonged. She escaped from him, however, and sprang into the pigeon house. The king's son waited until her father came, and then he told him that the unknown maiden had leapt into the pigeon house. The old man thought, can it be Cinderella? And they had to bring him an axe and a pickaxe that he might hew the pigeon house to pieces, but no one was inside it. And when they got home, Cinderella lay in her dirty clothes among the ashes, and a dim little oil lamp was burning on the mantelpiece. For Cinderella had jumped quickly down from the back of the pigeon house, and had run to the little hazel tree. And there she had taken off her beautiful clothes and laid them on the grave, and the bird had taken them away again. And then she seated herself in the kitchen amongst the ashes in her grey gown. Next day, when the festival began afresh, and her parents and the stepsisters had gone once more, Cinderella went to the hazel tree and said, "Shiver and quiver, my little tree, silver and gold throw down to me." Then the bird threw down a much more beautiful dress than on the preceding day, and when Cinderella appeared at the wedding in the dress, everyone was astonished at her beauty. The king's son had waited until she came, and instantly took her by the hand and danced with no one but her. When others came and invited her, he said, "This is my partner." When evening came, she wished to leave, and the king's son followed her and wanted to see into which house she went. But she sprang away from him and into the garden behind the house. Therein stood a beautiful tall tree, and which hang the most beautiful pears. She clambered so nimbly between the branches like a squirrel that the king's son did not know where she was gone. He waited until her father came and said to him, "The unknown maiden has escaped from me, and I believe she has climbed up the pear tree." The father thought, "Can it be Cinderella?" and had an axe brought and cut down the tree, but no one was in it. And when they got into the kitchen, Cinderella lay there among the ashes as usual, for she had jumped down on the other side of the tree, had taken the beautiful dress of the bird on the little hazel tree, and put on her grey gown. On the third day, when the parents and sisters had gone away, Cinderella once more went to her mother's grave and said to the little tree, "Shiver and quiver, my little tree, silver and gold throw down over me." And now the bird threw down to her a dress which was more splendid and magnificent than she had yet had, and the slippers were golden. And when she went to the festival in the dress, no one knew how to speak for astonishment. The king's son danced with only her, and if anyone invited her to dance, he said, "This is my partner." Welcome in, Tickleman. Welcome in, Mad Ghouls. How are you? When evening came, Cinderella wished to leave, and the king's son was anxious to go with her. But she escaped from him so quickly that he could not follow her. The king's son, however, had employed a ruse, and had caused the whole staircase to be smeared with pitch, and there, when she ran down, had the maiden's left slipper remained stuck. The king's son picked it up, and it was small and dainty and all golden. Next morning he went with it to the father, and said to him, "No one shall be my wife but whose foot this golden slipper fits." Then were the two sisters glad, for they had pretty feet. The eldest went into the shoe into her room and went to try it on, and a mother stood by. But she could not get her big toe into it, and the shoe was too small for her. Then her mother gave her a knife and said, "Cut the toe off. When you are queen, you will have no more need to go on foot." The maiden cut the toe off, forced the foot into the shoe, swallowed the pain, and went out to the king's son. Then he took her on his horse and his bride, and rode away with her. They were obliged, however, to pass the grave, and there on the hazel tree sat the two pigeons and cried, turn and peep, there's blood within the shoe. The shoe, it is too small for her. The true bride waits for you." When he looked at her foot and saw how the blood was trickling from it, he turned his horse round and took the false bride home again. And she said she was not the true one, and that the other sister was to put the shoe on. Then this one went into her chamber and got her toes safely into the shoe, but her heel was too large. So her mother gave her a knife and said, "Cut a bit off your heel. When you are queen, you will have no more need to go on foot." The maiden cut a bit off her heel, forced her foot into the shoe, swallowed the pain, and went out to the king's son. He took her on his horse as his bride, and rode away with her. But when they passed by the hazel tree, the two pigeons sat on it and cried, turn and peep, there's blood within the shoe. The shoe, it is too small for her. The true bride waits for you." He looked down at her foot, and saw how the blood was running out of her shoe, and how it stained her white stocking quite red. Then he turned his horse again, and blah, 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 blah. Eat the shoe is crazy. Why so much cutting body parts? I don't know. "This is also not the right one," said he. "Have you no other daughter?" "No," said the man. "There's still a little stunted kitchen wench, oh my gosh, a little stunted kitchen wench, wow, which my late wife left behind her, but she could not possibly be the bride." The king's son said he was to send her up to him, but the mother answered, "Oh no, she is much too dirty, she cannot show herself." But he absolutely insisted on it, and Cinderella had to be called. She first washed her hands and face clean, and then went and bowed before the king's son, who gave her the golden shoe. When she seated herself on a stool, drew her foot out of the heavy wooden shoe, and put it into the slipper, which fitted like a glove. And when she rose up, and the king's son looked at her face, he recognized the beautiful maiden who had danced with him, and cried, that this is the true bride. The stepmother and the two sisters were horrified and became pale with rage. He, however, took Cinderella on his horse and rode away with her. As they passed by the hazel tree, the two doves cried, turn and peep, no blood is in the shoe. The shoe is not too small for her. The true bride rides with you. And when they had cried that, the two came flying down and placed themselves on Cinderella's shoulder, one on the right and one on the left, and remained sitting there. When the wedding with the king's son was to be celebrated, the two false sisters came and wanted to get into the favor with Cinderella and share her good fortune. When the betrothed couple went to the church, the elder was at the right side and the younger at the left, and the pigeons pecked out one eye from each of them. Afterwards, as they came back, the elder was at the left and the younger at the right, and the pigeons pecked out the other eye from each. And thus, for their wickedness and falsehood, they were punished with blindness all their days. Welcome back, Karma. So how would you feel if you got your eyes pecked out because you were a jerk? See, me personally would not appreciate my eyes being pecked out. Not again. What do you mean again? Bro has replacement eyes. Don't worry about it. What? What do you mean don't worry about it? Broski. Welcome in, Sniper King. Womp Womp is crazy. Pride Month is over. Out of respect, I will no longer be gay. Lucia Schmariwada. It's so funny. What the? Sorry, I saw the original. Huh? LASIK? LASIK is crazy. Hi, Sniper King. Want a gift? That would you don't have to, but it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for all the likes. I appreciate it. Okay, I won't give you one. It's up to you. Love you, Rev. Not feeling too hot. Might be back later. Take care of yourself. Thank you for the pink pen light. I appreciate it. Oh my god, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Love. Sorry, that was weird. Yep, gotta take care of those knees. Y'all are crazy. Should I start reaching out to people? I feel like I should. Heart too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Trust me, I will. That was cute. What was cute? All I can afford. Bye. Thank you. Like for collabs and stuff. Yeah, I mean I'm on Twitch now, so I can technically do that. Oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ruffle will deny her cuteness until her dying breath, but we all know the truth. That I'm not that cute. Thank you. I have maybe a modicum of cuteness, but I am not that cute. Thank you though. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh my gosh, did I tell y'all that me and Belle had a competition on who can type faster and I won? As she says in the cutest possible way. What do you mean? How did I say it in the cutest possible way? What do you mean? I did no such thing. Nuh-uh. Iron Mask of that would be crazy. Be like, hello. So oh my gosh. Stop. Stupid laugh. Oh gosh, it's so hot in my room. No, at least I can cut myself off a bit. So adorable. Nuh-uh, but thank you. I appreciate it. The best laugh. Gotta show the new people that gremlin laugh. The gremlin laugh. Guys, are y'all ready? On Friday, you're gonna have to try and make me laugh. And I'm also like yeah, on Friday you're gonna have to make me laugh. And I will be drinking an energy drink, and then nuh-uh. But I'll be drinking an energy drink. I'll take a sip of it every time I laugh. And then I will be forcing myself to try and like talk calmly. Like forcing my voice down as deep as I can possibly make it. But I don't like not deep as in like masculine, like trying to pretend to be masculine, but deep as in like around here, like keeping my voice subtle and quieter than usual. Like seeing it's going to be a challenge because I'm going to be so freaking hyper, and then I'm going to be trying to talk like this the whole time. So it'll be an interesting experience. Will there be a Batsu wheel? What's a Batsu wheel? Can we make you laugh like hoo hoo hoo? That's cheating. That's so cheating. But yeah. So I'll be forcing my voice down as much as possible, but it'll be an interesting experience. What'll happen is I will drink the energy drink, and then afterwards if I laugh again, then I'll try and force my voice down. We can do it by minutes. Oh yeah, don't look at the comments on the dad joke. What'd you do? What'd you do? What did you say? Why did I sound like a baby? Wonder forgets how to walk. Okay, buddy. Why were the fish's grades bad? They were below sea level. That's crazy. I love that. I'm excited to start doing scary games, but I'll be playing Minecraft this Sunday. What games on Minecraft should I play? No, I did. Yes, I like that one. That joke, or the below sea level. I like it too. It's funny. So silly. So silly. My Little Pony. What do you mean, My Little Pony? I'm gonna be playing Minecraft. I'm gonna be playing on not Bedrock. On Bedrock. What the fuck? Bedrock edition. There we go. She's living My Little Pony. I'm not. My Little Pony on Minecraft. That is not a thing. It probably is, actually. Reverie, my favorite pony. Oh, she's... Stop! I'm not... I'm happy to be one of your Oshis, but I'm not happy that the pony part is added to it. Dun, 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 dun. Rev My Little Pony Kamiyoshi. Twilight Sparkle is your mother. No! Rev's real greeting is hello, every pony. I should totally. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard. Oh my god, that should. Oh yeah, Rev, I need to take my lap on every pony. Stop! Take care of yourself. My Little Pony watch along win. Oh my gosh. Take care of yourself, Vigio. Thank you for joining in. Rev is actually a pony all along. Let's change it. I'm not a pony! No! Before I leave, My Little Pony watch along will be hype. No, I don't want to do that. No! Rev the bird type pony. I am. Nah. Y'all are so goofy. Oh no. 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 Okay, there we go. Wait, you denied it? I am not. I am not a pony, guys. I am not a pony. I'll have y'all know. Welcome in, Fireman. How are you? But I'd imagine bird type pony is Pegasus, but you said no to that. I'm a Pegasus, but I'm not confirming the land pony allegations. I am not a pony. I am a Pegasus. There's a difference. The confirming the land pony allegations is crazy. I don't know why I'm talking like this. It makes me uncomfortable sometimes. It makes me feel like I'm forcing my voice down to sound like sexy or something, and it just feels so uncomfy for me. Because isn't that something that people do? They force their voices down because it like is. Some people find it attractive. I don't know. I feel like it personally, like whenever my voice goes down too low, it feels like I'm like, stop it! I sound weird. Oh, we getting sexy red voice? No, I don't want to. I don't mean to. Nice voice. Thank you. I love how you did that whenever I was talking about. That's crazy. That's crazy. As long as it's not British. I don't mean to talk in a British accent. Don't mention it or I'll accidentally start speaking silly. What am I doing tomorrow? Right. That's what I'm doing. I love all your voices. Right? They're all great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's see. How much longer do we have a whole hour left. My goodness. Really, Karma? What the flip flop? I can't believe you. Why would you do this? How dare. How dare you? I wonder when I'll have to get my iPhone back. I won't be able to make as many expressions. Anyway. Okay. Let's do the 12 brothers. Welcome in, Akichar. Akikai? Akichar? Akicare? Aki, yes. My little rabbit wonder if she's a horse or not. I'm not a horse! No. Okay. Okay. There were once upon a time a king and a queen who lived happily together and had 12 children, but they were all boys. What? Then said the king to his wife, if the 13th child which you are about to bring into the world is a girl, the 12 boys shall die, in order that her possessions may be great, and that the kingdom may fall to her alone. He even caused 12 coffins to be made, which were already filled with shavings, and in each lay a little death pillow. And he had them taken into a locked-up room, and then he gave the queen the key of it, and bade her not to speak of this to anyone. The mother, however, now sat and lamented all day long, until the youngest son, who was always with her, and whom she had named Benjamin, from the Bible, said to her, Dear mother, why are you so sad? Dearest child, she answered, I may not tell you. But he let her have no rest until she went and unlocked the room, and showed him the 12 coffins already filled with shavings. Then she said, My dearest Benjamin, your father has had these coffins made for you, and for your 11 brothers, for if I bring a little girl into this world, you are all to be killed and buried in them. And as she wept while she was saying this, the son comforted her, and said, Weep not, dear mother, we will save ourselves, and go hence. But she said, Go forth into the forest with your 11 brothers, and let one sit constantly on the highest tree which can be found, and keep watch, looking towards the tower here in the castle. If I give birth to a little son, I will put up a white flag, and then you may venture to come back. But if I bear a daughter, I will hoist a red flag, and then fly hence as quickly as you are able, and may the good God protect you. And every night I will rise up and pray for you. In winter, that you may be able to warm yourself at a fire, and in summer, that you may not faint away in the heat. Okay. Oh my gosh. After she had blessed her sons, therefore, they went forth into the forest. They each kept watch in turn, and sat on the highest oak and looked towards the tower. When 11 days had passed, and the turn came to Benjamin, he saw that the flag was being raised. It was, however, not the white, but the blood-red flag which announced that they were all to die. When the brothers heard that, they were very angry and said, Are we all to suffer death for the sake of a girl? We swear that we will avenge ourselves. Wheresoever we find a girl, her red blood shall flow. Thereupon they went deeper into the forest, and in the midst of it, where it was the darkest, they found a little bewitched hut, which was standing empty. Then said they, Here we will dwell, and you, Benjamin, who are the youngest and weakest, you shall stay at home and keep house. We others will go out and fetch food. Then they went into the forest and shot hares, wild deer, birds, and pigeons, and whatsoever there was to eat. This they took to Benjamin, who had to dress it for them in order that they might appease their hunger. They lived together 10 years in the little hut, and the time did not appear long to them. The little daughter which their mother, the queen, had given birth to was now grown up. She was good of heart and fair of face, and had a golden star on her forehead. Once, on a great washing, she saw 12 men's shirts among the other things, and asked her mother, To whom do these 12 shirts belong? For they are far too small for father. And the queen answered with a heavy heart, Dear child, these belong to your 12 brothers. Said the maiden, Where are my 12 brothers? I have never yet heard of them. She replied, God knows where they are. They are wandering around the world. Then she took the maiden and opened the chamber for her, and showed her the 12 coffins with the shavings and the death pillows. These coffins, said she, were destined for your brothers, who went away secretly before you were born. And she related to her how everything had happened. Then said the maiden, Dear mother, weep not, I will go and seek out my brothers. So she took the 12 shirts and went forth, and straight into the great forest. She walked the whole day, and in the evening she came to the bewitched hut. Then she entered it and found a young boy who asked, From whence do you come? And whither are you bound? and was astonished that she was so beautiful, and wore royal garments, and had a star on her forehead. And she answered, I am a king's daughter, and am seeking my 12 brothers. And I will walk as far as the sky is blue until I find them. And she showed him the 12 shirts which belonged to them. Then Benjamin saw that she was his sister, and said, I am Benjamin, your youngest brother. And she began to weep for joy, and Benjamin wept also. And they kissed and embraced each other with the greatest love. But after this he said, Dear sister, there is still one difficulty. We have agreed that every maiden whom we meet shall die, because we have been obliged to leave our kingdom on account of a girl. Then she said, I will willingly die, if by so I can save my 12 brothers. No, answered he, you shall not die. Seat yourself beneath this tub until our 11 brothers come, and then I will soon come to an agreement with them. She did so, and when it was night, the others came from hunting, and their dinner was ready. And as they were sitting at the table and eating, they asked, What news is there? Said Benjamin, Don't you know anything? No, they answered. He continued, You have been in the forest, and I have stayed at home, and yet I know more than you do. Tell us, then, they cried. He answered, But promise me that the first maiden who meets us shall not be killed. Yes, they all cried, She shall have mercy, only do tell us. Then said he, Our sister is here. And he lifted up the tub, and the king's daughter came forth in her royal garments with the golden star on her forehead. And she was beautiful, delicate, and fair. Then they were all rejoiced, and fell on her neck, and kissed and loved her with all their hearts. Now she stayed at home with Benjamin, and helped him with the work. The 11 went into the forest and caught game, and deer, and birds, and wood pigeons, that they might have food. And the little sister and Benjamin took care to make it all ready for them. She sought for the wood for cooking, and herbs for vegetables, and put the pans on the fire so that the dinner was always ready when the 11 came. She likewise kept order in the little house, and put beautifully white clean coverings on the little beds, and the brothers were always contented and lived in great harmony with her. Once upon a time, the two at home had prepared a wonderful feast, and when they were all together, they sat down and ate, and drank and were full of gladness. There was, however, a little garden belonging to the bewitched house, wherein stood 12 lily flowers, which were all likewise called student lilies. She wished to give her brother pleasure, and plucked the 12 flowers, and thought she would present each brother with one while at dinner. But at the selfsame moment that she plucked the flowers, the 12 brothers were changed into 12 ravens, and flew over the forest, and the house and garden vanished likewise. And now the poor maiden was alone in the wild forest. And when she looked around, an old woman was standing near her, who said, My child, what have you done? Why did you not leave the 12 white flowers growing? They were your brothers, who are now forevermore changed into ravens. The maiden said, weeping, Is there no way of saving them? No, said the woman, there is but one in the whole world, and that is so hard for that you will not save them by it. For you must be dumb for 7 years, and may not speak or laugh. And if you speak one single word, and only an hour of the 7 years is wanting, all is in vain, and your brothers will be killed by the one word. Then said the maiden in her heart, I know with certainty that I shall set my brothers free, and went and sought a high tree, and seated herself in it, and spun, and neither spoke nor laughed. Now it so happened that a king was hunting in the forest, who had a great greyhound, which ran to the tree on which the maiden was sitting, and sprang about it, whining and barking at her. Then the king came by and saw the beautiful king's daughter with the golden star on her brow, and was so charmed with her beauty that he called to ask her if she would be his wife. She made no answer, but nodded a little with her head. So he climbed up the tree himself, carried her down, placed her on his horse, and bore her home. Then the wedding was solemnized with great magnificence and rejoicing, but the bride neither spoke nor smiled. When they had lived happily for a few years, the king's mother, who was a wicked woman, began to slander the young queen, and said to the king, This is a common beggar girl whom you have brought back with you. Who knows what wicked tricks she practices secretly? Even if she may be dumb and not able to speak, she still might laugh for once. But those who do not laugh have bad consciences. At first the king would not believe it, but the old woman urged this so long and accused her of so many evil things that at last the king let himself be persuaded and sentenced her to death. And now a great fire was lighted in the courtyard in which she was to be burnt, and the king stood above at the window and looked on with tearful eyes, because he still loved her so much. And when she was bound fast to the stake, and the fire was licking at her clothes with its red tongue, the last instant of the 7 years expired. Then a whirring sound was heard in the air, and 12 ravens came flying towards the place and sank downwards. And when they touched the earth, they were her 12 brothers, whom she had saved. They tore the fire asunder, extinguished the flames, set their dear sister free, and kissed and embraced her. And now, as she dared to open her mouth and speak, she told the king why she had been dumb, and had never laughed. The king rejoiced when he heard that she was innocent, and they all lived in great unity until their death. The wicked stepmother was taken before the judge, and put into a barrel filled with boiling oil and venomous snakes, and died an evil death. Thank you for the like, Rihanna, and welcome in, stupid girl. What? Why you gotta be so rude? Okay. So what do we think? I like that story. That story was nice. I thought a lot more of these stories would be a lot more twisted, but they aren't that bad actually. They're not that bad. I quite like them. I mean, they have a little bit of gruesomeness to them, but they're not that bad. Not truly, anyway. I haven't been doing any clips lately. I just don't know what to record. Anyway, I had a therapy appointment today. That was a pretty good appointment. Yep. And I have a doctor's appointment coming up. That's my life right now. Well, of course, there's a lot more going on that I can't tell y'all about. You know, the secret organization, myth. You know, that one place that I work for, but don't really talk about much. Lots of stuff going on there. Guys, how are y'all doing? I got a call from the doctor's office this morning, and I ignored it to go back to sleep. It wasn't the smartest choice. Bruh. Do. Bye. Welcome in, Clucks. How are you? Okay. Anyway, on to the next story. Mm, let's see. Thank you for the like. Bruh. Welcome in, Kuhaku. How are you? Welcome in, Spectro. How are you? Okay, let's do the old man and his grandson. Oh, this is a very short story. There once was a very old man, whose eyes had become dim, his ears dull of hearing, his knees trembled, and when he sat at table, he could hardly hold the spoon, and spilt the broth upon the tablecloth, or let it run out of his mouth. His son and his son's wife were disgusted at this, so the old grandfather at last had to sit in the corner, behind the stove, and they gave him his food in an earthenware bowl, and not even enough of it. And he used to look towards the table with his eyes full of tears. Once, too, his trembling hands could not hold the bowl, and it fell to the ground and broke. The young wife scolded him, but he said nothing and only sighed. Then they bought him a wooden bowl for a few halfpence, out of which he had to eat. They were once sitting thus when the little grandson of 4 years old began to gather some bits of wood upon the ground. "What are you doing there?" asked the father. "I am making a little trough," asked the child, "for father and mother to eat out of when I am big." And the man and his wife looked at each other for a while, and presently began to cry. Then they took the old grandfather to the table, and henceforth always let him eat with them, and likewise said nothing if he did spill a little of anything. That was a very short story. Welcome in, Sib. How are you? Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. Let's see. A lot of these start with the. That's a lot of stories. Okay. Our Lady's Child. Holy shit. That's a lot of reading to do. Hard by a great forest dwelt a woodcutter with his wife, who had an only child, a little girl 3 years old. They were so poor, however, that they no longer had daily bread, and did not know how to get food for her. One morning the woodcutter went out sorrowfully to his work in the forest, and while he was cutting wood, suddenly there stood before him a tall and beautiful woman with a crown of shining stars on her head, who said to him, "I am the Virgin Mary, mother to—" Oh gosh, nope, that's too much. The story of a youth who went forth to learn what fear was, the wolf and the 7 little kids, sure. There was once upon a time an old goat. Welcome in, Subtile. How are you? I hope you're doing well today. There was once upon a time an old goat who had 7 little kids, and loved them with all the love of a mother for her children. One day she wanted to go into the forest and fetch some food, so she called all 7 to her, and said, "Dear children," thank you for the like, Subtile. "Dear children, I have to go into the forest. Be on your guard against the wolf. If he comes in, he will devour you all, skin, hair, and everything. The wretch often disguises himself, but you will know him at once by his rough voice and his black feet." The kids said, "Dear mother, we will take good care of ourselves. You may go away without any anxiety." Then the old one bleated and went on her way with an old easy mind. It was not long before someone knocked at the house door and called, "Open the door, dear children. Your mother is here, and has brought something back with her for each of you." But the little kids knew that it was a wolf by the rough voice. "We will not open the door," cried they. "You are not our mother. Welcome back, fireman. She has a soft, pleasant voice, but your voice is rough. You are the wolf." Then the wolf went away to a shopkeeper and bought himself a great lump of chalk, ate this, and made his voice soft with it. Then he came back, knocked at the door of the house, and called, "Open the door, dear children. Your mother is here, and has brought something back with her for each of you." But the wolf had laid his black paws against the window, and the children had saw them and cried, "We will not open the door. Our mother has not black feet like you. You are the wolf." Then the wolf ran to a baker and said, "I have hurt my feet. Rub some dough over them for me." And when the baker had rubbed his feet over, he ran to the miller and said, "Strew some white meal over my feet for me." The miller thought to himself, "The wolf wants to deceive someone," and refused. But the wolf said, "If you will not do it, I will devour you." Then the miller was afraid and made his paws white for him. Truly, this was the way of mankind. So now the wretch went for the 3rd time to the house door, knocked at it, and said, "Open the door for me, children. Your dear little mother has come home, and has brought every one of you something back from the forest with her." The little kids cried, "First show us your paws, that we may know if you are our dear little mother." Then he put his paw in through the window, and when the kids saw that they were white, they all believed what he said was true and opened the door. But who should come in but the wolf? They were terrified and wanted to hide themselves. One sprang under the table, the 2nd into the bed, the 3rd onto the stove, the 4th into the kitchen, the 5th into the cupboard, the 6th under the washing bowl, and the 7th into the clock case. But the wolf found them all and used no great ceremony. One after the other he swallowed them down in his throat. The youngest, who was in the clock case, was the only one he did not find. When the wolf had satisfied his appetite, he took himself off, laid himself down under a tree in the green meadow outside, and began to sleep. Soon afterwards the old goat came home from the forest. Ah, what a sight she saw there. The house door stood wide open, the table, chairs, and benches were thrown down, the washing bowl lay broken to pieces, and the quilts and pillows were pulled off the bed. She sought her children, but they were nowhere to be found. She called them one after another by name, but no one answered. At last, when she came to the youngest, a soft voice cried, "Dear mother, I am in the clock case." She took the kid out, and it told her that the wolf had come and eaten all the others. Then you may imagine how she wept over her poor children. At length in her grief she went out, and the youngest kid ran with her. When they came to the meadow, there lay the wolf by the tree and snored so loud that the branches shook. She looked at him on every side and saw that something was moving and struggling in his gorged belly. Ah, heavens, she said, it is possible that my poor children who he has swallowed down for his supper can still be alive. Then the kid had to run home and fetch scissors and a needle and thread, and the goat cut open the monster's stomach. And hardly had she made one cut, than one little kid thrust its head out. And when she cut further, all six sprang out one after another, and were all still alive, and had suffered no injury whatsoever, for in his greediness the monster had swallowed them down whole. What rejoicing there was! They embraced their dear mother, and jumped like a sailor at his wedding. The mother, however, said, now go and look for some big stones, and we will fill the wicked beast's stomach with them while he was still asleep. Bro, I would wake up from this shit. Then the seven kids dragged the stones thither, with all speed, and put as many of them into his stomach as they could get in. And the mother sewed him up again in the greatest haste, so that he was not aware of anything, and never once stirred. When the wolf at length had his fill of his sleep, he got on his legs, and as the stones in his stomach made him very thirsty, he wanted to go to the well to drink. But when he began to walk and move about, the stones in his stomach knocked against each other and rattled. Then cried he, what rumbles and tumbles against my poor bones? I thought 'twas 6 kids, but it feels like 6 big stones. And when he got to the well and stooped over the water to drink, the heavy stones made him fall in, and he had to drown miserably. When the 7 kids saw that, they came running to the spot and cried aloud, the wolf is dead, the wolf is dead, and danced for joy round about the well with their mother. That is crazy. Now the freaking body is gonna rot in there, and they're gonna have to deal with that. That'll be gross. Okay. Right? Doesn't seem like that much of a win, to be honest. Yeah, their water's gonna be all rotting and stuff, and yeah. Unless they pull them out and eat them or something. Oh my gosh, why would you? Oh geez. That's a crazy suggestion, but honestly, real. I wasn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was thinking that. I was like, what if they eat him instead? You know, turn the table Uno reverse, kind of thing. Like, nah, no you. You know. No you is crazy. It would probably backfire. Yeah, it would probably. Yeah, you'll like have a stone-filled dinner. Let's see. The Valiant Little Tailor. Holy shit, this story is so long. No, I can't do it. The riddle? How short is this? Oh my god, why are these so freaking long? Ah! Okay, I forgot what story I was reading. The riddle. Okay. There was once a king's son who was seized with a desire to travel about the world, and took no one with him but a faithful servant. One day he came to a great forest, and when darkness overtook him, he could find no shelter, and knew not where to pass the night. Then he saw a girl who was going towards a small house, and when he came nearer, he saw that the maiden was young and beautiful. He spoke to her, and said, Dear child, can I and my servant find shelter for the night in the little house? Oh yes, said the girl in a sad voice, that you certainly can, but I do not advise you to venture in. Do not go in. Why not? Asked the king's son. The maiden sighed and said, My stepmother practices wicked arts. She is ill disposed towards strangers. Then he saw very well that he had come to the house of a witch. But as it was dark, and he could not go further, and also was not afraid, he entered. The old woman was sitting in an armchair by the fire, and looked at the stranger with her red eyes. Good evening, growled she, and pretended to be quite friendly. Take a seat and rest yourselves. She fanned the fire, on which she was cooking something in a small pot. The daughter warned the two to be prudent, to eat nothing and drink nothing, for the old woman brewed evil drinks. They slept quietly until early morning. When they were making ready for their departure, and the king's son was already seated on the horse, the old woman said, Stop a moment, I will first hand you a parting draught. Draught? Uh, whilst uh, whilst she fetched it, the king's son rode away, and the servant who had to buckle his saddle tight was the only one present when the wicked witch came with the drink. Take that to your master, said she. But at that instant the glass broke, and the poison spurted on the horse, and it was so strong that the animal immediately fell down dead. The servant ran after his master and told him what had happened, but as he did not want to leave his saddle behind, he ran back to fetch it. When he came to the dead horse, however, a raven was already sitting on it and devouring it. That's crazy. Who knows whether we shall find anything better today, said the servant. So he killed the raven and took it with him. And now they journeyed onwards into the forest the whole day, but could not get out of it. By nightfall they found an inn and entered it. The servant gave the raven to the innkeeper to prepare for supper. They had stumbled, however, on a den of murderers, and during the darkness 12 of these came, intending to kill the strangers and rob them. But before they set about this work, they sat down to supper, and the innkeeper and the witch sat down with them. And together they ate a dish of soup in which was cut up oh, it's gonna be poisoned. My bad. You drive once you read. Huh? No, no, don't drink it. Oh my gosh. Now's a crow. Hardly had they swallowed a couple of mouthfuls before they all fell down dead, for the raven had communicated to them the poison from the horseflesh. There was no one else left in the house but the innkeeper's daughter, who was honest and had taken no part in their godless deeds. She opened all doors to the strangers and showed him the store of treasures. But the king's son, she said, said she might keep everything. Welcome in, Mofungus. It's been a while. How have you been? Same thing, just bigger than the other one. That's crazy. But the king's son said she might keep everything. He would have none of it, and rode onwards with his servant. After they had travelled about for a long time, they came to a town in which was a beautiful but proud princess, who made it known that whoever should set her a riddle which she could not guess, that man should be her husband. But if she guessed it, his head must be cut off. She had 3 days to guess it in, but was so clever that she always found the answer to the riddle given to her before the appointed time. 9 suitors had already perished in this manner. When the king's son arrived, and blinded by her great beauty, was willing to stake his life for it. Then he went to her and laid his riddle before her. What is this? Said he. One slew none, and yet slew 12. She did not know what that was. She thought and thought, but she could not solve it. She opened her riddle books, but it was not in them. In short, her wisdom was at an end. As she did not know how to help herself, she ordered her maid to creep into the lord's sleeping chamber and listen to his dreams, and thought that he would perhaps speak in his sleep and reveal a riddle. But the clever servant had placed himself in the bed instead of his master. And when the maid came there, he tore off from her the mantle in which she had wrapped herself, and chased her out with rods. The second night the king's daughter sent her maid in waiting, who was to see if she could succeed better in listening. But the servant took her mantle also away from her, and hunted her out with rods. Now the master believed himself safe for the third night, and lay down in his bed. Then came the princess herself, and she had put on a misty grey mantle, and she seated herself near him. And when she thought that he was asleep and dreaming, she spoke to him, and hoped that he would understood and heard everything quite well. Then she asked, One slew none, what is that? He replied, A raven, which ate of a dead and poisoned horse, and died of it. She inquired further, And yet slew 12, what is that? He answered, That means 12 murderers, who ate the raven and died of it. When she knew the answer to the riddle, she wanted to steal away, but he held her mantle so fast that she was forced to leave it behind her. Next morning, the king's daughter announced that she had guessed the riddle, and sent for the 12 judges and expounded it before them. But the youth begged for a hearing, and said, She stole into my room in the night and questioned me, otherwise she could not have discovered it. The judges said, Bring us proof of this. Then were the 3 mantles brought thither by the servant. But when the judges saw the misty grey one from the king, that which the king's daughter usually wore, they said, Let the mantle be embroidered with gold and silver, and then it will be your wedding mantle. I renewed my weapons license today, so it's a good day. That's crazy. Oh, you have a weapons license? That's so wild. I could never. I could never. Oh, this is a lot of reading for me. I'm used to reading in my head, so reading out loud is crazy. Sounds like a fairy tale. It is a fairy tale, and welcome in, Smart Bridge. How are you? Hi, hi. They made it easier now. And what? They made it easier? I don't know if that's a good thing. They made it easier. Oh shoot. What are you reading? Oh, and what are you reading? I'm reading fairy tales. The only weapon Rev needs is her hooves. I mean hands. Welcome back, Subtile. How are you? She is a deadly unicorn. I'm not a unicorn. I'm a Pegasus. You're gonna eat a stone. I'm not gonna eat a stone. Hi, Leo Bell. How are you? We're reading stories today. Meowdy. Meowdy. I am so tired. I'm like dying a little bit and dying inside a little bit. Fire drive broke. What? 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 Felt I just napped for 3 hours. I wish I could nap during the day. Yeah, she's a flying horse. What the heck? Fire drive broke. Read what explains the sleepy red. I'm sleepy. But it's okay. What was I gonna do? I was gonna do something. I was gonna say something, but I don't remember what I was gonna say. Right, guys? She's spirit with wings. I'm not spirit. I'm gonna be gone for what is it? Let me look at the dates again. I forgot already. The 15th through the 19th, I will not be streaming at all because I will be gone. I will be gone. So that means I'm gonna be streaming on the weekends on AniLive, even though I freaking like. It's fine. You wanna sleep because you need it. I do need it, but that's okay. I can wait. You can't take the weekends off too. Uh, no, I don't want to risk it. Also, no, karma. I feel so bleh right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'll be okay. I'll be fine. I'm fine, guys. She's fragile. What? I'm not fragile. Nuh-uh. I don't know what you're talking about. My butt. Your butt? Huh? I can't see very well. What is your profile picture? What? What's your profile picture? But aren't you like skin and bones? I'm not skin and bones. She needs to go out and shoot to wake up. What? No. But yeah, I can't take the weekends off too. That's too much time taken off. It's okay. Guys, I was supposed to have a friend coming over soon, but they canceled on me. Oh, it's so life is so cruel. I don't know what I'll do this evening. Anyway, let's see. Have you played Elden Ring? I have not. The first mistake was having friends. Okay. Wait, is that why you were upset today? Nah. Well, Rev got stood up, but you were sleeping anyway. No, but it was gonna be fun. You should try firework. What's that? But yeah, I got stood up again. Welcome in. How are you? Rainbow? What? What are you talking about? What? I'm confused. But yeah, I got stood up for the second time outside shoot. Oh, fireworks? Brain tot. Just waterboard yourself. That should wake you up. Oh my gosh, that's a crazy suggestion, Mofungos. I can't believe you just suggested that. That is insane, man. That's wild. It's crazy. Insane, wild, and crazy. All freaking three. It'll probably wake you up, though. You're not wrong. It was just a suggestion. What do you... Dude! That's a crazy suggestion. That's what that is. Or drink coffee. But it's so late. It's 8. It is 8 p.m. If I drink coffee, I will not go to sleep. I hear crazy, but I don't hear wrong. Okay. It's drink a Celsius. I don't want to. I don't want to be awake. That's for Friday's stream. Or C4. Nah. Firework is better? What do you mean? Let's see. I guess I should read another story, shouldn't I? Sounds really flaky for it to happen twice. I know, right? It's because they got too... You want to hear some tea? It's because they got too nervous the first time. And I think they got too nervous to just hang out with me. And then, like, I think they chickened out on it. And then tonight was just supposed to be us hanging out and then just chilling and stuff. But then they were like, freaking... And I'm just like, I just want a friend. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate it, Sophia. Think of something angry to wake up. Yeah, that woke me up. So I'm angry. Freaking canceling on me. Is it a dude? Yeah. Why would a friend be nervous around you? Because of the way I look. Anyway, thank you for the energy drink. I appreciate it. I wish it actually woke me up. You cheating on me? What do you mean cheating on you? We're not together. Karma. Fallen dog. I don't know what you're on about. I'm not that pretty. See? My model is very pretty. I love my model. Everybody's pretty. That is good. That's a good mindset. Everybody is pretty. It's probably the hooves. That scares them off. I'm going to drop kick you. What? Hooves. But, yeah, most of my friends are males. It's oh my god, the stream, she's just adorable. Nuh-uh. But thank you. Hello. Welcome, Pablo. Karma, I would cheat on you too. That's crazy. Are you a tomboy? I am not a tomboy. I wear skirts and all that good stuff, but yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the gifts. What are you laughing at? I don't know what you laughing at. Is one supporting and the other is not. What? Thank you. Ah! I died. But she's not a tomboy. She's a Pegasus. It's crazy. But secretly, she's a tomboy, and the skirts are the kills. If I I don't wear a kilt. I know people would cheat on me because I already have trust issues with me. Oh my god, no, stop. My butt, señorita. What? What? Are you talking to me? That should wake you up. Oh yeah, bomb definitely wakes me up a little bit. Freaking dying, you know. Dying should casually wake me up. Yes, I'm talking to you. What about me? What is it? Why are you calling me señorita? I love it when you call me señorita. Ba 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 ba. You just got isekai'd. What? How did I just get isekai'd? Oh, with the bomb. I am now. It's only a little bit. So you woke up. C4 firework for death. Oh my gosh, in another world. That's crazy. I'm in another world now. I woke up in another world. That's crazy. Isekais are fun. Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is a fun game. I'd pick fires. Fireflies? Fireworks or death? Oh, for death. Oh, wait. C4 or fireworks for death? What? In this world, you're a unicorn now and can't. Now, I'm a unicorn now? That's crazy. You pick fire? That's not good. Death isn't good for you. I don't know if you knew this. In fact, death is pretty bad for your health. Well, today I have a rough day. My console would not let me in, and then I got frustrated and mad. Oh, I'm sorry. Why didn't it let you in? Do you know why? Well, I guess if you knew why, you'd be able to get in. Chicken's butt, firework, crackers. What are you talking about? You're confusing me. You're what? AI abandon you? AI abandon you? How did that happen? I thought I was crazy. Subtitle is a bit more. Hold up, you need rest. I think you need rest too. I support your decisions. My decisions, so what? Thank you for the hard eyes. I appreciate it. Well, I was trying to sign in and then it went let me, and that's because that stupid console hates me. I'm sorry. What's your plan again? What's my plan for the stream? My stream, I was reading. What story are you reading today? I already read a lot of stories. I'm kind of taking a break because I read a lot of them. The Anarchist Cookbook. What? That was the original stream plan, but it devolved into Bully Rev stream, which is great. Why is this always what it devolves into? She gets all cute trying to deny the truth. What? What do you mean? I'm not cute. Bro, you weird. Oh, really? News to me. News to you for what? You're not being cute. What? I am not. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Oh my god, thank you so much, Miss L. I appreciate it. Holy crap. Let me just boop. So I can post that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. That was amazing. It was beautiful. Well, tomorrow I'm going to see the fireworks. Nice. Wait, why tomorrow? Isn't July 4th, like, in 2 more days? What about my eyes? What about my eyes? What did I do? Boop. What? Not, it's like an event or something in my hometown. But you see, I see. Swear people are just like close enough. I want to shoot some fireworks. What? What are you doing? You know what? Sorry, I'm like freaking debating. I'm like so out of it right now, guys. I think I might need an entry. I'm really out of it. She was not energy. Yeah, I'm a little out of it. Um, yeah. I'll see. What was I saying? I don't know why, but my brain just shut down. All good. You look like a cat trying to stay awake, but stop. Don't out me. I'll see you all around. Take care of yourselves. Have a good evening. Take care. Bye, everyone.